Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Keegan Lamar. I wanted to. I wanted to start something. I wanted to let you guys into my world a little bit and talk a little bit about some of the stuff I do and actually show you guys a little bit of my process, some of the stuff that I'm working on, some of the things that um, keep me up late. Right now, it is 10:06 p.m. and most nights I'm up somewhere between midnight and 1 a.m. Um, I'm trying to get better with that. There's just a lot that's been going on. I have a lot of projects that are coming my way, and I figured, you know what? I should probably take a little bit of time and actually share some of my process with everybody. Let everybody in on a little bit of the secret sauce that goes on, a little bit of some of the things that I talk about. So I was reading, so right now, and I time block some things. So right now, the time frame that I started what I'm currently doing, I gotta reload. Does anybody else figure whenever they try and look at their calendar, I don't know where it logs out all the time and you have to log back in? Okay, so right now I time blocked what I'm doing. This started at about 9:30. 9:30, a friend of mine sent an amazing article, or really not even an article. It's these 16 stories um, that really shape a lot about the connection between body and mind. So I time blocked that to go from about 9:30 till about 11. So I'm giving myself about an hour and a half to work on that. It has been awesome. So let me just give you guys a nugget here. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of space so you guys can see. I'll try and put up some of the words here. This is just a small snippet. All of us live in dependence on strength of the body and strength of the mind. Without these two things, life couldn't last. And for strength of body to exist, it needs help from strength of mind. But strength of mind doesn't need to depend on the four necessities, which these are necessities of the world, such as your health and security and all these other things, birth and aging and illness and death and all these other things. So strength of the mind doesn't need to depend on the four necessities or worldly wealth. And it doesn't need to depend on strength of the body at all. We're still talking about the mind here, right? It can get along solely on noble wealth, which these are things that are intangible pieces of wealth. These are knowledge, experience, wisdom, stuff like that. So strength of the mind is more important than strength of the body. The nature of the body is that it flows in one direction towards decay. But the mind won't flow along with it. The mind is sure to progress in line with its strength. Whoever has a lot of strength will go very far. Whoever gets stuck on birth will have to take birth. Whoever gets stuck on aging will have to age. Whoever gets stuck on illness will have to be ill. Whoever gets stuck on dying will have to die. But whoever isn't stuck on birth, aging, illness, and death is bound for a state that doesn't take birth, doesn't age, doesn't grow ill, and doesn't die. Now just think about that for a second, right? The body, the moment you're born, you're headed towards death. Which for some people, if that's a hard pill to swallow, guess what? We're all going to die. It's going to happen. That's just the way it is. That is how your body is built. When you realize that the mind doesn't have to follow the same progression that your body does, things start opening up. You start getting into a place where you can put yourself mentally wherever you so choose. Doesn't matter where your body is. If you're feeling sick, your body can or when your body is sick, your mind can still prosper. When your body is juvenile, your mind is still able to be experienced and aged. When you are experienced and aged, your body is still able to tap into a joyfulness that youthful people might experience. When your body is in a place of dying, it's allowed to go anywhere that it wants. So that's just a very, very small part. That is like 1/1000th of what I'm going to be reading. Like, I want to say it's beautiful, but like, this is the stuff that makes me really excited about the work that I do. And I wrote this down. I literally have it written. Oh boy. Okay. I have it written down here on a piece of paper, right here. And I did this the other night, and I don't think you guys can really see that, but I wrote down, because I was having a conversation with somebody, and I wrote down that I stay up until 1 a.m., because it was 1:30 at this point. And I was having a conversation with somebody else, and I was reconfiguring a talk that I do. And it's a talk about moving from a survival mindset to a championship set of beliefs. Really revealing the inner champion so that you can do whatever you want. And it was 1:30, and the guy who I was talking to, he said, great guy, amazing coach. I'm super excited that I'm able to work with him, and super grateful that I get to work with him. He had said to me, just take a moment right now. Like, it's 1:30 in the morning. Talk about what's going on in your world. Like, why are you up? Right? Like, find some inspiration in this. Find purpose in this. And I wrote down that I'm up until 1 a.m. focused on how I can provide impact and value to the world, to you, to people. Isn't that kind of crazy? Because I used to be the guy who was up until 1 a.m. out with friends. Whether it was, out at the bars or out at some friend's birthday party or just out playing with friends. I've also been up super late playing video games. I've been up super late watching stupid videos on the internet. I've been up late just because I can't sleep. But right now in this time of my life, I am up until 1 a.m. figuring out how I can continue to bring value to people from the perspective of how their mind can put them in a place where they can do anything in this life. That to me is a little bit, it gets me fired up, right? Like, it makes me feel like everything that I'm doing is all worthwhile. It makes me feel fulfilled. It makes me understand and realize that the promise that I made myself when I graduated college, when I got the question that everybody gets asked, hey, you just graduated college, what are you going to do with your life? And I had no job lined up. I had recently just lost an internship that was going to turn into a job. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't think that the skills that I had were necessarily going to put me in a position where I could do something valuable. And the only thing that I really said was, I'm going to find success by helping other people find their success. And that was hyper powerful because it just came out of me, right? And so when I do this kind of stuff, it lets me know that I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing. So yeah, I'm going to be letting you guys in on a little bit more of my process as I go along, but I wanted to share that with you because it just kind of came up out of nowhere. Okay, so it is still late, but I wanted to show you guys a little bit about the space that I use and where the magic happens. So when you see videos, this is my office, and these panels, if you're wondering, they're really cheap. I did this all myself. There was like an echo in this room beforehand, so having these panels in here was really helpful. especially for my podcast episode, Unstoppable Mindset. If you guys have not been listening to it, you should get on it. Go listen to, I think it's episode 73 or 74, which is the 1 year anniversary episode. There's a billion nuggets in it. Go listen to it. Now, obviously, I've got, my chair. This is the first chair that I've ever purchased. It took me a very long time to actually purchase a chair for a desk. I've always used some other chair out there, whether it was a hand-me-down or I even used a kitchen chair that was like wooden, had the wooden back with like the spokes on it, and one half of the back didn't connect super well, so I literally had a hammer at my desk, and I have to hammer in this plastic wedge that would hold it in place, because there was one time where I was talking to somebody and I leaned back in the chair and it came out and I completely toppled over. It was absolutely ridiculous. So, first chair that I've ever purchased. Pretty happy with it. Got it on sale because I'm cheap. I've had these monitors in my computer and stuff for a long time. I love it to death. I've got my setup, my microphone, all that other stuff. If you're ever curious about how I do any of this stuff, please let me know. Shoot me questions. Shoot me a DM, send me an email, keegan@lamarcoaching.com. Another thing that's super important to me is to keep notes and to make them big. So I have there, you can see on my desk, I've got like a notepad and other stuff like that, but that's not big enough. These are the things that I'm working off of. If you're ever curious about how I get this stuff, just let me know. Also, one of the things that really keeps me centered and grounded is building Legos, because there's thousands and thousands of pieces and it just keeps me centered, and it kind of is a mindless thing and it's very relaxing. So that's a little bit on the inside of how things work over here. And yeah, this is the life of a coach.